All right, Kyle Mohan Racing, and we've gotten some great questions over the past couple weeks. I really appreciate everybody checking out our videos, subscribing, and asking questions about the car, rotary engines, and what is going on. So tonight's topic is our Formula Drift RX8 brake setup. How did we do the dual caliper rear? And how is our hydraulic e-brake set up? So we'll cover a little bit of information about RX8 brakes, and then also get into the technical side of the Formula D car. So as you can see here, right on the back, I've got a couple hubs laid out, and we've got our rear wheel off. We've been doing some suspension work. Yeah, we run a lot of wheel spacers. I don't want to hear about it. It's drifting. But there you go. That's your dual caliper setup. Our brake system is engineered by WpPro, and we do import WpPro components. They're actually a really cool company. You can see they've done scalloped style rotors in the automotive industry. It's kind of their trademark, and they do really nice, lightweight, high performance aftermarket brake setups. The factory RX8 was a single piston rear caliper. So you can see we've upgraded to twin piston setup, and then also to a twin caliper setup. And I think the most commonly asked question is, how did we do that? Because with the Mazda RX-8's 5-link rear, there's not a lot of room. And you know, I'll just be honest, right now we're still in the design stages of trying to get a twin caliper setup to work with one of the OEM hubs, and you can kind of look at it and see why. This is your caliper spacing, and it's really difficult to get that anywhere else on this aluminum rear hub from the factory and still have movement room for the arms, suspension articulation. We may end up having to look into smaller calipers for trying to set up some type of aftermarket secondary e-brake system for the RX8 for drifting. But what we did was with the WpPro rear suspension setup, which gives you more adjustability. So if you're road racing or drifting, it gives you the ability to change different aspects, your camber curve, your toe curve, anti-squat, pro squat. Personally, for drifting, we leave things pretty neutral with some manual or tire toe in, and we don't try to have any real camber change in our suspension swing. So even though we have those adjustments with the WpPro setup, most of our setup is still just in regarding to the dynamics, pretty square tire, keeping the tire patch square to the ground, and not really using some of the modifications that WpPro had to offer. But they did give us the ability to mount twin calipers, and it's actually set up for OEM RX8 calipers. If anybody's interested in doing it, this is your easiest way to get a twin caliper set up on the RX8. Buy a WpPro kit, mount 2 OEM calipers. In our case, the WpPro kit that they do make is a bolt-on kit for the RX8. So we were able to take their big brake kit plus an extra set of calipers and set our Mazda RX8 up. Some other really neat benefits about WpPro are these are lighter than stock rotors, even though they are bigger. They've been heat treated to a little over 1,400 degrees Fahrenheit, so they're very good when it comes to being able to absorb the heat and not crack, not warp. We've put them through many years of use and abuse doing brake stands, so we do have some heat marks, but they're still working great. For our e-brake setup, we're running a Sickie laydown e-brake, and I apologize, it's a little messy in here. I just like the laydown. I think when I originally learned to drift, we'll just say it was in a street car. Not going to say where that was. You know, it's obviously on a closed course with professionals. Yeah, So my whole style through the years has still been to have a lay down e-brake. So I still like that. It's traditional, I think, for drifting compared to a lot of the drivers that go to more of a rally style upright e-brake. And then here's my HDT sequential shifter. We'll talk about gearboxes and transmissions in another video. I am running a separate master for the e-brake. I have ran straight through systems where you plumb the hydraulic e-brake for drifting or stunt driving into the OEM brake system with just plumbed into the rear calipers. It works fine. You do get some pedal feedback. I think that's with most cars. It does happen in the RX8. I drove it for multiple years that way. It wasn't an issue. However, you do get a firmer pull and better response when it comes to modulating foot brake pressure and handbrake pressure. So it gives the driver more control in drifting to have the two brake systems completely separated. And that's one of the reasons we choose as drifters in some cases to go with the twin caliper setup with its own master on the hydraulic e-brake. I do know a lot of drivers that go with the straight through system because that is lighter weight technically. So it really just depends on what you're going for. Up front, you can see we're also still running a bigger rotor. It is scalloped. WpPro cutting the weight down. It is heat treated. It is a two-piece. And then the 3-pot 6-piston setup up front. So really big, aggressive brake caliper. And one thing I can say is with the setup, it's given me great brake response. And then also great modulation between e-brake and foot brake. So just a very well balanced brake setup from WpPro. It saved us weight. WiseFab helping us with the suspension and obviously giving everybody in the industry for RX8s the ability to have twin calipers. But obviously we'd love to offer a twin caliper setup for OEM hubs. So there you have it. Kyle Mohan Racing Formula Drift RX8 brake setup, big brakes, big calipers, lightweight. You know, drifting's just all about going big. That's why the bumper's missing right now, because I'm still fixing crash damage from the last time I went big. Make sure to follow, make sure to subscribe, ask questions, and we're just enjoying this YouTube page. So thank you for following, and have a rotary night.